Meditation tip 294. Society. Guys, try to notice today in your own experience that society is very dysfunctional. And if you just live by what society does, then you're living in a very dysfunctional way, because you're just kind of going by what everybody else is doing. And just because everybody else is doing certain things doesn't mean that that's the way to live or the best way to live, right? Because maybe if you've ever thought about it, maybe what everybody else is doing might not be so good. And you probably never questioned this because you're like, oh, if Johnny is doing this and Mary is doing this, then I should maybe do this too. And then you're like, okay, then you decide already, that's enough proof for you that Mary and Johnny are eating this kind of food, so that's okay, I'll eat that too. And then all of a sudden, you've created kind of like a structure and a belief system that it's okay without any questioning on if that is actually true and the best way to live. And this is how our society runs, right? And it's very dysfunctional because we just accept things because the masses are doing it. And if the masses are doing it, then it must be good. And if that's your reasoning and the limited questioning that you're doing about your own life, then you're just going to go by what the masses do. And that's not very good, like, experimenting and like questioning the truth and what's the best for you. That's a very lazy way to live, right? Because you're just doing what other people are doing, and then you just create a belief out of it, and then more and more people do it, and then it's like, oh yeah, this must be right. But if you look, there's always kind of like been disruptions in society's views, right? Like at one point, obviously everybody thought that the world was round or flat, and then people thought that smoking was good, or I don't know, there's so many different things that society believed is good. And then once eventually like a person disproved it and people fought against him for years, then eventually more and more people disproved it, and then it becomes normal again and society takes it on. But otherwise, it's like if a person disproves society, at first there's a lot of fighting and not agreeing to it, and then maybe eventually, if more and more people disprove it, then people might turn around and actually accept it. But this is what society does. They're very stubborn, and it's like a cult, right? It's hard to change it. So if you're living like that, then you're doing the same thing in your life. And if you're like that, you won't let anything come through. Any experience is kind of like blocked. And that's not good, because you're blocking things that might be actually beneficial to you, and you're just kind of like locking the door instead of just allowing it to kind of present itself and see maybe there is actually benefits to this or that. And the more open you are to all possibilities, the more you grow. But if you're just living how society lives, then you're not very open because they are not open. And that's kind of sad because then you're always going to be stuck in a certain way of living until the mass proves it right. Then you might be willing to budge. But if the mass society doesn't prove it and fights against it, then you're never going to go with it either. And then you're just kind of living like what other people are living, and it takes a long time for you to change. And that's a problem because society takes a long time to change, and you're going to do the same. So try to start noticing that society is dysfunctional, and maybe you should take it upon yourself to question things more so that you experiment on this world yourself based on what your observations, because no one's going to do it for you really. They're going to do it for themselves. And yeah, so check it out. Let me know how it goes. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this with people, and peace.